Hello, I'm Bratiti and I'm GIS trainer at Swastik Aerostar, New Delhi. Today I will be giving a description about map requirement. What are the requirements that a map must have? So the first and foremost requirement a map should have is the projection, followed by scale, direction, boundary, legend, title and source. So let us come one by one. First and foremost thing is the map projection. Now, what is a map projection? Map projection is actually the method of representing part of the Earth's surface on a flat surface. As we all know, our Earth is spheroid. It is not flat, it is in a three-dimensional format. So, while preparing a map, we must convert this three-dimensional Earth surface into a two-dimensional flat paper or flat surface. So, doing this very precisely is a very difficult task. But we can do this with the help of map projection. These are a few methods how to depict this three-dimensional Earth surface into a two-dimensional flat paper in such a way that we can have a precise measurement of each and every location of the next essential requirement of a map is the scale. Scale is the ratio between the ground surface and the map surface. For example, if I'm thinking to make a map of Delhi. Delhi is quite a large area. Now, bringing the Delhi precisely in a small paper is a hectic task and it will be quite difficult, and at least precisely we can't do that. Manually we can sketch, but precisely we can't do that. So now what I can do? I can give a proper scale of bringing those three-dimensional Earth surface into that two-dimensional plain paper. For that, for example, I can show that 50 km of Delhi will be depicted by 1 centimeter in the plain paper. So if I will do this kind of map, if I prepare a map in this way, then further I can measure the area precisely. Further I can measure the distance precisely. So unless and until we will have a proper scale, we can't do further work in a map. So scale is a very much essential requirement of a map, and without scale actually we can't be called it as a map. It will be better called as a sketch. So if you are trying to make a map, you should have a proper scale which will be highlighting the real Earth surface into a smaller manner in a 2D or in a flat. Another important requirement of a map is the direction. As already stated, in map we try to portray the real Earth surface into a flat paper in a precise manner. And while doing so, we should also keep into our mind towards which direction the map is being oriented. To show that, we actually highlight that by pointing the north arrow. Like in example, we can show here, this is the north direction. And based on the north direction, we can find out the rest of the direction of the map. Like this is east, west, south, and in between these two we can have the northeast. In between this southeast, in that way we can find out the rest of the direction. Boundary again holds another important part in map making. Boundary is the area extent of a particular area. For example, if I'm trying to map something of Delhi, like if I'm thinking to make a precipitation map of Delhi, first of all I should have a boundary of Delhi. Again, while making the boundary of finding out the boundary, we should also see that it must be from an authorized source. In GIS, if we are thinking to make a map in GIS format or in GIS software, we usually find the boundary in the form of shapefile, and there are a lot of websites which gives us an authorized source of boundary of each area as well. Another important map requirement is legend, title, and source. Legend is the index, or legend shows whatever we are showing in the map, we must highlight those in the legend. Legend always must be put into the right extreme hand of the map in the bottom side, and it should have the standardized shapes and formats and colors to show each and every feature. And legend must be so clear that even a layman can also understand that, because while making the map we must keep into our mind that it should be so clear that even a layman can also understand this. And the legend is only way how we can depict our map and we can express our map. The next important thing is the title. Title is the main heading that we are trying to show in the map, like for what purpose the map is being made. Like if I'm making the precipitation map of Delhi, then I must highlight the name of the place at the very first and then followed by the main heading. The next is the source. Source is from where I have got the data to make the map. Like example, again I'm taking the same example. if I'm making the precipitation of map of Delhi, and if I'm taking the data from TRMM satellite, then in the extreme end I must highlight the source as from TRMM satellite data. So source is again another important part of a map.